Hello everybody. Welcome back. Good to have you still on board on our webinar series today. I'm taking over from Anthony for the last two webinars, and I welcome Dr. Eric Tambo, who's with us now. Hope you can see him. I hope you can see me and hear me, everybody. And he will talk about quality assurance and certification via the ECB Check initiative. And Dr. Eric Tambo is from the United Nations University and the Open ECB Check initiative. Well, Eric, the stage is yours. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Sibylle. Also from my side, a warm welcome to this presentation in the frame of the webinar series of the MOOC courses on quality and e-learning. So, as already introduced by Sibylle, I will give you a short overview on the ECB Check initiative. I think the slide is already uploaded on the presentation, screen. So I will put it in full screen to start the presentation. Yes. As mentioned, I will give you a short overview on the ECB Check initiative, which is hosted here at the UNU. Maybe before starting with the short introduction of the ECB Check initiative, to give you maybe one or two words about the UNU. The UNU is the United Nations University, one of the 14 institutes of the United Nations based in Bonn and dealing on the topic of environment and human security. And besides this content-oriented topic, the Vice-Rectorate of the Institute in Europe are also based in Bonn. So, and in the frame of activities of this Vice-Rectorate, strengthening cooperation with institutions in the south, with academic institutions in the south, by the means of e-learning is one of the mandate or one of the goal of this Vice-Rectorate. So. And our involvement within the ECB Check initiative is also take place in context of the mandate of the Vice-Rectorate of the United Nations University. Okay, so let's go directly to the presentation. Shortly also to my person here at the UN University. I'm in charge of e-learning and more or less the focal point for organizational aspect related to the Secretariat of the ECB Check. So what is the ECB Check initiative? The ECB Check initiative is designed to build e-learning capacity. So it's an appropriated response to quality cultures. As you will see later in the presentation, we will talk about online community, not only about qualities and criteria, but also about online community. So it's also an appropriate response to quality verification to remain relevant amongst peers. We will see when we talk about quality verification, I will have at least one or two slides on the self-assessment tools to check the quality of course or program in e-learning. And also the ECB Check initiative is also an appropriate response to quality certification, so to ensure the recognition of the quality of a course. And we will have also later one or two slides about the peer assessment process and the certification procedures. And what are the actors, or let's say institutions involved in the ECB Check initiative? ECB Check initiative, let's say the organizational body is what we call the steering committee. It's a mix of international institutions dealing on the area of e-learning and quality, amongst other the ITC ILO and the FAO, the GIZ, the UNITA, the United Nations University, and the African Virtual University, the UNET. But we also have national university like the Cairo University, the Georgian Technical University, the Ethiopian Institution of Architectures, and also network. I think the African Virtual University could be considered as a network, and EduCal, which is also a network, e-learning network in Latin America. So all these institutions built what we call the ECB Check community, the steering committees. And so to support organizational procedures with regard to the ECB Check initiative, we have, let's say, the administrative office, which is located here in Bonn. And the process, as in the early beginning, is strongly supported by the GIZ, so they are really involved in the in the development of the initiative from the early beginning. So, and the value proposition for the ECB Check initiative, so why to join these communities? I think it's a community which based on the expertise of a lot of international actors, international national actors and network active in the field of e-learning, as already mentioned when I was listing the institution of the steering committees. And also the value proposition of the initiative is that it's based on the standardized, transparent and open access process. So everyone willing to join the initiative, every actor, every institution engaged in e-learning willing to join the initiative are free to do that. So they are welcome also to join the initiative as actors, as experts or as institutions. Also, we could already say that the initiative based on the experience for more than 5 years of research, piloting and provision. So a lot of, we had the time to make, so to learn from which activities are going well, which criteria are well appropriated for which processes, and to update it every time, so the quality of the criteria catalog, but also from of the whole process. And one other big argument, one other big value proposition of the ECB Check initiative is the cost aspect. As you will see in one of the slides, costs for the certification of the course are quite low in comparison to the benefit that you have if you have a certified course. So talking about the ECB Check community, as I was saying in the beginning, when we talk about the ECB Check, is not only the certification procedures, but it's also a community, an online community of practitioners in the area of quality for e-learning. It's also the reason why we have this presentation in the frame of the MOOC, of the ongoing MOOC organized by the GIZ. So the idea is also to build a community around the topic of quality and e-learning. So ECB Check is also, when you talk about ECB Check, you talk about the community of practitioners in the area of quality in e-learning. And when you are a member of this community, you have the right to elect the ECB Check steering committee. You have the right to supply reviewer and receive reviewer from other members of the community, to exchange expert and share best practice with other members of the community. So as already mentioned before, the membership of the community is freely open to all organizations who sign the ECB Check charters. We have for now around 34 members registered, so globally registered in the ECB Check community. Now let's go to the self-assessment. Self-assessment, which is one of the core features of the ECB Check. So the self-assessment based on criteria, ECB Check criteria, which could be used for several purposes. Depending on, for several purposes, it could be used for the tool for instructional design. So myself, I use it when I teach e-learning courses in several universities in Africa. When I address the topic of quality of e-learning, first I ask the student to design an e-learning course and to play the role of reviewer, and then go along this criteria. So it's help the student to reflect the aspect, the important aspect which needs to be considered when you are talking about quality of e-learning course. So this criteria could be used in instruction for instructional designer, for teacher. The criteria could also be used as self-assessment methodology. It means if you design your course, if you design an e-learning course to be delivered to, let's say, student in formal or informal context, you could use the ECB Check criteria to review your courses and to improve aspect which may have not been really developing data, as you could use the criteria as guide, so to see if every part of your course is in line with international standard. And the criteria could also be used for as guide for internal quality assurance in company. I guess you had today morning the example of the, I think it's UNICEF, which developed their own quality assurance criteria based on the ECB check criteria. So they took the ECB check criteria and they further developed it, they adapted according to their internal process to check the quality of the course produced by the institution. So the criteria could also be used for these proposals. So the criteria, they are free to use and reuse. They are under the open access license, so it's free to use and to reuse by everyone interested in that. So now talking about the criteria, how the criteria are looking like. So the criteria are organized according to main categories. So we have one category dealing on information about the organization of the program or the courses. We have one category dealing on on the program design and the course. We have one category dealing on the quality of the media design, the media you have to integrate it, that you have integrated in your course. We have another category with question dealing on technologies, which technology is embedded in the course. And we have a category dealing on the target audience and the orientation, and one other category dealing on the quality of the content. So in all of these categories, you have several questions that as a reviewer you are supposed to answer if these questions are in line with the standard defined by the ECB check community. Let's jump now maybe to be concrete on the example of criteria. When we take the category information about the organization or the program, so almost all criteria, let's say all big cluster are organized according to this scheme, so that you have first the general description and you have first the title of the category, and on the left side you have the criterion, the description, the guidance on how to evaluate, and the documentation. So when we talk about the criteria, particularly in the category on the information about your organization, so you are supposed to give all information for potential learner need to orient their decision about talking on the course. In detail, it means you have to assess, or you have to describe objective and clear information about the orientation of the course, the goals, the learning objective, the methodological approach, the target group, the prerequisite for participation, and the technical requirement, the fees. All this information which are more or less required for learners before taking a course are supposed to be described in this category. So if you submit the course for assessment, so the reviewer will check if all this information are available. And if this information are not available, then you will get the kind of notification to complete them. And it's more or less the same for other category. If we go, for example, in the category technology, so there will be some question about the technology used for the design of the courses, if they are accessible for everyone, if they also consider something like low bandwidth. So for each category you have specific questions that are reviewed by the reviewer, and also a comment for the respective category is given to the course author. So to review the course if the category are not, let's say, if the criteria are not met. So as I said, that is an example of criterion for the category information about the organization of the program. We will say here about the organization of the course, And if we go to other category like the media design, the technologies, the quality of content, you will also have a set of questions that need to be assessed. Now, let's look about how the toolkit look like. So the toolkit is accessible online under the address www.ecbcheck.net. The registration is free for any individual and organization, and the self-assessment for the course are conducted through an online portal. So as you can see here, a screenshot of the online portal, you see the question that we have before in the previous slide. I already described or presented here information about the general organization, general description. So all the questions that you have in the form, or all question of the assessment criteria, are mapped into this portal, allowing reviewer to give their review direct online. But also for people interested to have a look on the criteria, so to go through the criteria online and assess their courses. Now let's go to the peer. I don't know if there are questions. Like I see some message on the chat box. I don't know how far the moderation is organized, but I guess after the presentation we will have the possibility, all the participants will have the possibility to raise questions, so that I can give an answer to them as far as can. So let's go now to the peer assessment and certification process. So if you want to certify your courses, first you will have to send an inquiry to the ECB Check Secretariat, and then the Secretariat will check the eligibility of the course. So you will have first to register it on the online portal, to sign the code of conduct or code of practice, and then send your course, your application to the Secretariat for eligibility check. And after first check, then you will get a feedback if the course is eligible or not. And if it's not eligible, then you will get advice on how to proceed to make it eligible. And if the course is eligible, then the self-assessment process will start. Then you will have 2 reviewers allocated to the course, which are supposed to make the peer, let's say the self-assessment, let's say the review, and to produce a peer assessment report. And so the 2 reviewers will produce their report, which will be sent to the awarding body decisions making. First, it depends. If the course is well designed, then the course will directly be forwarded to the awarding body. But if there are some update or some, depending on the report, if there are some update, the course will be sent back to the author to make some improvement before the course will be forwarded to the awarding decision body. And after every comment are updated on the course, then the course will be forwarded to the decisions body. And if this awarding decision body gives their positive feedback, so the course will get the ECB check label, which is valid for 3 years. And I think the peer reviewer are all part, let's say, are provided by institution members of the ECB check community. So each institution could provide a reviewer to make to assess the course which are submitted to the ECB check secretariat. About the modality or cost, initially the ECB check was planned not only to assess courses but also e-learning program, but so far I think most of the requests that we have so far are concerning the courses. So, and the review modality for courses, if the course is less than 100 hours, then you have approximately 33 questions in the process of the self-assessment. As already mentioned, two reviewers, two virtual reviewers, so we'll go through the course and raise some question in case the course is not, in case some aspect of the course did not fulfill the requirement for the certification. And if everything is fine, then you get a label which is valid for 3 years. And one important thing also is to submit the course for assessment. The course should have at least 20% of online component. I think the costs are variable depending on the modality. I think we have another slide on the cost. Not here. I think depending if the institution wish to send the course for assessment is part of the community, so you have a kind of rate for community members, you have a rate for external members. I think I will have to look on the other slide which are the cost. But for further information about the certification process or the cost, I think it will be good to send a mail to the secretariat. Then we will go through your application and then give you further information about the cost. But yeah, as I say, I will look in another slide, and in the discussion, if the question come about the cost, I will give you an answer on that. As already mentioned, the reviewer come from the trainee pool provided by the community. When you are a member of the community, then you could propose expert to be reviewer, and this expert will go through a training. The training take yearly at the ITC ILO in Turin. So they will go through a training, where how to assess an online course, and they will become after this training reviewer, reviewer for the community. I think in the nutshell, that is what I can say about the ECB Check initiative. And yes, now I saw already during the presentation some question in the chat box. Now I'm looking forward to your question and hope to give you an answer. I guess we have further participants of the ECB Check community in the room. I'm thinking on Anthony, which is let's say the focal point at the Secretariat of the ECB Check, but also Volker Lichtenthaler for the GIZ, who may help me. If you have a question that I cannot directly answer. So as I said, I'm looking forward now to your question, and
Thank you, Eric. Very, very good. Thank you so much for the presentation. I hope you all can hear me. I think, yes, my microphone is on again, and the webcam too. And I already found some questions in the text chat. Juvi asks if we customize and contextualize an open educational resource that has an ECB Check seal. Will it also mean that the contextualized product will have the same seal?
Can you repeat the question again?
It's about if Juvi is taking an open educational resource that has an ECB Check seal, and after that she customizes it and makes it fitting to her context. Is it still will it still have the same ECB Check seal?
Label, you mean? So if
the label, yes, label or seal, yeah.
Yeah. I think it depends on the kind of change that she made. If she made change in the content, so in the content, in the instructional design, I will say that she will have to submit the course again to the ECB Check community. This time, I think the process will be much quicker than the course which was not assessed before. But it depends on the change that she made on the course. If it's general information about the authorship, about the right, formal information, maybe she don't need that, but if she made some change about the content, about the instructional design, about the method, so she may have to submit the course again with the advantage this time that the reviewing process will go much quicker than the first time.
Okay. Thank you so much. And I wanted to say about the costs, because you wanted to provide us with that information. You can do that on the platform too, so everybody can find it on the platform later after that webinar.
Anthony, are you on? Because the person dealing more or less with request and cost at the UNA, the secretary.
He's here. He's writing in the chat. Yes.
Yeah, maybe he could give some information about the cost.
Oh, he can maybe give some information in the chat. If not, we can do it on the platform later on.
Okay.
And Juby has another question. If we renew the certification after 3 years, do we get a discount? So she's already bargaining.
I think all these specific questions should be sent to the secretariat, which will be forwarded to the steering committee. I guess, from which organization is she?
Juby, I don't know by heart.
I suppose she will, she's most probably already a member of the ECB Czech community. And I would say that she should submit this specific request to the secretariat, and the request will be forwarded to the...
Anthony is writing in the chat that there is discount for recertification.
Okay, then it's fine. Yeah.
Okay. And there was some discussion in the chat about the current Like My Course competition in our MOOC. I don't know if you know it, but there are you can win there a certification by the ECB Czech. And then Urna asked, by the way, if I had developed virtual laboratory for digital learning, it can be applied for competition. I don't know if you are the right person to answer that question, but maybe you can share some words on it. I think Urna has developed a virtual laboratory for digital learning. And as far as it a course, and as far as I understood you, and it has 20% of online phase or elements with it, it can be certified, isn't it?
Can you repeat the question once again?
Well, it's just about we can do that after the webinar maybe too. It's just that Urna has developed a course or a virtual laboratory for digital learning, and she wonders if she can get it certified by ECB Czech.
That is a program, it's not a course.
I don't know, Urna, it's a program or it's a course?
Because it sounds like a program, virtual laboratory. Is that an experiment, virtual experiment? Yeah. It's a course, okay.
So
and the course is a virtual experiment.
Maybe. Let's wait for her answer. No, this is a virtual version of a real laboratory.
Virtual version of a real... And what practical courses? So practical experiment.
Anthony, he writes, my best advice to you is that you should look at the criteria on the website and see if you feel they apply to your product. So, well, I think that would be fine for her first to do so. Thank you so much. And Hedda, she asks, how quickly can be done a peer reviewing process from the moment you requested support? How long does it take?
I think that is also a question that Anthony could give you. As I say, when it's come to this formal question with regard to the certification, Anthony is the focal point for that. And he gave already an answer that the applications are open now. And you welcome the list, of course. Yeah. So the applications are open now. So how long it take? I think, as I say, Anthony, it depends on the availability of reviewers. Anthony could give more information about that.
Okay. Then there is Nidia. She will have the next presentation in our webinar series. She asks for the certification of a program. It has to be run for several times. And the same question comes from Celine. He says, hi Nidia. He answers. The course has to be run at least once to be certificated, to be certified. Does it has to be really, run once, the program or the course, or can it be certified before?
I think Anthony also gave already an answer to that. So course does not need to have been run to be certified. As long as it's ready and can be accessed, it's entered by a reviewer and it can be certified. So
okay. Yes, okay. So it has not to have been run. Okay. As long as it is ready and can be accessed. Very good. And Jamika, I think he wants to see an example for an open ECB check course. Is there some example available in the web to see how an open ECB check course or a certified course can look like?
Maybe, David, what you could do maybe will be if you could put the microphone of Anthony on, so that we both, as I say, for this specific question, he is more able to give an answer, so that he could also take over and maybe answer.
And Anthony has already pasted some link, as far as I've seen. It was quite some minutes before. Pricing information, he has posted a web link.
Yeah,
and
for the
also, okay, no, but there's no answer for Jamika for maybe example ECB check courses. But maybe we can still answer that question in a minute. There is another question from Jamika, and after that I think we should closely complete or finish the session. Jamika asks, are there ECB check trainings for reviewers?
Yes. I think training was supposed to take place this year, in Turin, so in the last quarter of the years. Normally, I don't know if Volker Lichtenstaller from the GIZ is online, but then he could give more information about that. But in the past, we had to have almost every year a training for reviewer in Turin, and one is in discussion for the end of this year.
Okay. And maybe one final question. When can we start submitting MOOCs for certification? Is that possible in future?
I don't know if the criteria have been already adapted for MOOC. I think it was one of the aim of the course of the MOOC that is already ongoing, to develop criteria, to adapt the criteria for MOOC's setting. I don't know how far, but I will say we may need a bit of time to adapt the criteria. For now, so far, the criteria was not really. We have to make some adjustments to address the issue of MOOC, the issue of gamification, and it was the aim of this MOOC, this ongoing MOOC. So I don't think that it will need a bit of time to adapt it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's worth to be a member of the community, of the ECB check community, and also of our community globe, and above all, with a view to the costs. If I got you right, as a member or even as a reviewer, it's really a great advantage to be member of a community. Okay, thank you so much.
Of course, it's also an issue of community of practice. I think you have the possibility to exchange with practitioners, with the person in charge of e-learning in university, in international organization, to share documents, to share. So it's not only, I think, for me, the most important thing is this community aspect. So the cost is fine, but I think if you are in charge of e-learning in your institution, the benefit to be part is really lies really on the communities in this community to share practice and experiences. And if you need then to certify a course, of course, if you are a member, the costs are less than if you are not a member.
Yes, so absolutely. Let's get together and let's exchange. Everybody stay in the community. Thank you so much, Eric.
You're welcome.
We will go on with the webinar series in 25 minutes with Nidia Georgis. And so stay tuned. See you again in a few minutes. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.